Scott Heathman is on vacation.
Thank you so much, Taryn. Thank you so much for your time. Funny enough, I want to build on Bruce's question just real quickly here, because I faced that context where when I was commanding and the Air Force was really getting, all the services for that matter, very concerned about the rising suicide rates over the last several decades. In 2019, I was asked, as I led this Air Force base, I was to hold a resiliency down day. And there was a little bit of a playbook designed and handed to each one of us base commanders, and we were going to go through this. But I had real problems with this. I love the intent behind it, but to me, I just felt like this thing was going to fall flat on its face. And I took the opposite approach, which is we have to design a way to bake this into our culture, because, well, to me, to build that resilience is to be human. Just like you said, is the stories are about us, and that growth comes from learning what did we learn through those challenges, complexity, and change. Of the programs that you have seen or been involved in, what have you seen that's been effective in delivering a resilience program to an organization?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think you're right on in recognizing very early on that simply having a resilience day, right, is not, going to make a measurable difference, is not going to move the needle. And, even if we give people additional time off, if they're still coming back into the same environment that is chipping away at their resilience, at their mental health, at their well-being, that time off is not going to be, an effective way, an effective coping strategy, if you will. So one of the things that I've seen, work very well is this opportunity for, the senior most leaders in an organization, or the senior most commanders, and I've done this on, Air Force bases and with the Navy, is to get together and to kind of in this, reverse bucket list activity, to start to share some of your resilient stories with one another, and then how that formed you and what you learned in that moment, and to begin to kind of create the sense of vulnerability and authenticity that happens amongst you, and then to be able to cascade this right across, the command more broadly, or across the organization, in the sense that then people are welcomed in, and the opportunity to share their resilient story and how that formed them into the person they are today. We begin then to celebrate, not necessarily the challenge itself, but the resilience journey. And we normalize that people are going to face these 3 C's, rather than people feeling like they need to be ashamed in some way, or suffer in silence. So that's one of the ways that starts. I think it's also the systemic teaching and application of the 5 practices across organizations. I've done that through workshops and trainings and keynotes, and we've actually been able to measurably impact the mental health, well-being, and resilience of organizations, as well as what people are reporting on their engagement surveys and around productivity. We've seen the needle move there. And then one other organization that I work with closely that I'm glad to share with you or anyone else who's interested offline is an organization called Life Guides. And what Life Guides does is it pairs people. They have, thousands of guides that they've certified, and they pair people that are going through something difficult with someone who has gone through that situation, and they can do it with an incredible level of specificity. So, if there's an Arabic woman who is an executive and mother, and she's going through a divorce, and it doesn't culturally seem appropriate, and there's all these kind of, puts and takes of the way her life is changing, Life Guides has got someone on their side that they can match with this person, who can be sort of a guide and walk with her on this journey, with this idea that no one ever has to go through anything alone. And I think the beautiful part of this is, our leaders and managers and folks who are in leadership positions, they're caring so much for the organization, for their people, that what I love about Life Guides is it provides another resource, another sort of set of hands, if you will, to help people navigate their most difficult moments and ensure that no one feels alone or under-resourced.
Incredible resource that I
Thank
had
you.
no idea